If you ever traveled in a dusty or foggy low visibility condition, then you know the visibility is very important, not only for you to see others, but for others to be able to see you. Today we're taking a closer look at a unique off-road light, Novsight's Halo 4.5 lights with built-in third brake light feature. Not only do they look slick, but they also double as a safety upgrade for your rig. I'll show you exactly how I wired mine up, how the light modes function, and we'll get into some real-world measurement of amp draw numbers for each setting. Novsight is kind enough to send me 4 pods of the third brake light for me to review. I had this vision since I got my battery rack to have a row of chase light in the back. Originally I wanted the chase light bar, however I think everyone's running the same bar and they all look the same, and I wanted something that would look much nicer and stand out in the crowd. These 4.5-inch lights from Novsight came with a halo ring that acts as a running light and a center dial that can light up either in white or another dial that light up in red. It's perfect to have the halo ring as a running light or parking light, and the center dial in red as a brake light, and the center dial in white as a reverse backup light. Personally, I believe having 4 of these in the back of my truck will look so much better than a chase bar. What makes them stand out is the integrated third brake light feature and the halo ring around the light. This is something you don't see either on the street or off the beaten path. The light in general is very good looking, however, the only thing I like to change personally is the bezel color. I'm not hating the silver, but I would prefer the black bezel much more. I believe silver bezel works, but only on certain color cars, and not on my army green Tacoma. So first thing I did is to paint the bezel, and I'll show you how I do that here. First, I mask all the parts of the light except the bezel. I made sure I mask all the corners of the lens, because it's gonna get messy if you don't mask that well. And then I started painting. I got the Barrett paint in flat black. When you're painting the bezel, make sure you're doing at least 2 or 3 coatings. And make sure all the edges are painted evenly, so that you don't have any silver bezel see-throughs. After you've done painting, I would suggest at least let it dry for about 2 to 3 days before touching it. I made the mistake of not being patient enough, so that I kind of trying to play around with it and accidentally kind of ruined the even finish with my fingerprints on some of the parts of the light. But I wasn't going to put in the effort to rework on the light because I was too lazy. I think it turned out pretty well. Here is a before and after shot of the light. So before I started wiring the lights, I needed to know what kind of amperage am I looking at. So I temporarily hooked up 2 lights and measured the amperage. When the light is in the solid red mode, which is the brake light mode, 2 of them is drawing about 0.69 amps. So for each individual light at the brake light mode, it's gonna draw about 0.35 amps. And then for the pair of solid white reverse light, it's drawing almost 5 amps, which makes each of the light drawing about 2.5 amps. And then for the halo mode, the parking light mode, it's also drawing about 0.6 to 0.7 amps, which is very similar to the brake light mode, at around 0.3 to 0.35 amps per light. Alright, so I wanted to go over the wiring I did for my lights. So basically each pair is going into 1 string of 4 wires, and then that goes back to a DT connector right here. Basically I have 2 pigtails, right? 2 DT connectors, 1 for each pair, 1 left and 1 right. So both of these are coming from the engine bay, so I fed the wires from the engine bay up all the way back and up. And then there is a separate halo light wiring that's going into the 7-pin harness of the trailer. from the Tacoma, which is where it's getting power from. So whenever the parking light is on, you will see the halo light is also on. So that serves as a parking light on up top. Yeah, so this is my wiring. Wiring has been a little, I wouldn't say complex, but it's a lot of work because every light has 4 wires coming out. So I'm literally splicing 16 wires into 8 and running that. So it's a lot of work, but it's manageable. I think I did a pretty clean job using 12 gauge wire. I know it's a little overkill, but these lights being 35 watt max, 4 of them is almost 20 amps. So yeah, trying to be safe. Alright, now I'm going to show you how they look from another angle. As you see, I just turned the parking light on. And now is the reverse light, which is a solid white. And now is the brake light function, which is solid red. I only wired the parking light together with the vehicle's harness so that the parking light will be turned on when the headlight and the parking light of the vehicle is turned on. However, I chose to wire the other 2 modes individually because I wanted more control of that. As you see here, they are pretty bright, much brighter than the LED replacement from Miso Customs or the Dow Dynamics SS1 light in the bottom. And here is a close-up of how they look at night. Like I mentioned earlier, Novsight Halo series really stand out in terms of the design of that halo ring around the light as a DRL backlight. Oh, and a fun fact, Novsight recently just won a Red Dot Design Award in the Vehicle Accessories category. That's a pretty big deal in the design world, and it's not hard to see why. These lights aren't just functional, they're thoughtfully designed, and that kind of recognition reflects it. Congratulations to the Novsight team. Here I'm going to show you how the light looks real quick in the real world, backing up. I really like it being a flood pattern because it spreads the light everywhere, and it's really good being a reverse light because you want to see maximum width and height when you're backing up. Alright, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching, hope you like it, and please comment below on what's your favorite third braking light or chase light bars for your off-road needs. Thank you again and have a good one.